review Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I'm very excited to just watch it, and I don't know, I'm just really happy about this movie. It has been a wild ride going from movie 1 in 2020 being the only person in the theater watching it till now being in a small crowded theater. Movie 2 was a huge, event for me, for my channel. I actually got a bunch of, you know, video game playthroughs out of all the games I played from Sonic 1 all the way until I think at the time, what, Generations or something? Or even like Sonic Colors Ultimate, I think was the last one maybe on the docket for that. But Sonic the Hedgehog has blessed my channel with a bunch of subscribers, a lot of views, and a lot of goodwill. And I'm very happy with all of that. I'm grateful to you all for all your patronage. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. I was never a huge Sonic fan when I was younger, but I think the first game I ever played at my cousin's house was Sonic the Hedgehog 1 for the Genesis, way back when I was really young. And that just sort of like, okay, it was a fun game. I think I beat Eggman in that game for Green Hill Zone. I think I played that level like a lot. But it kind of had a little spark in me. I'm like, this is really fun. And years later, I finally picked it up back up again when I played Sonic Adventure 2 Battle with my neighbor. We were just hanging out, playing this game. It was so fun. My neighbor got me into Sonic. The music was amazing. I got a lot of the soundtracks on my phone, but I never got into classic Sonic until years later, back in the early 2020s, when I first played Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles, fell in love with them. I loved them so much, and eventually got into the entire franchise. I love it. Personally, I think it's a little bit better than Mario. There's a Mario poster up here if you want to check that out. Metroid's up here too. I won this. That was amazing. But I'm just very happy to have been a part of this franchise in a small way. And I'm just glad that we're here at movie 3. I've been waiting for this for years. So, how this review is going to go, I'm going to go into my general thoughts about it, and then I'm going to spoiler territory for it. I will be using the action figures, and maybe I'll do a version of the review where I put clips up here, maybe as a not live one for people who missed the live, want to see it, want to ask me questions in the comments. Please do. That'd be great. So, on to the review, I guess. So, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I am just happy. I got all my figures in the movie here. So, how it starts off with Sonic. Jeez, where do we begin with the movie? We don't even start with Sonic at all. We start with Shadow. And Shadow is a brilliant character in the film. He is impeccably voiced by Keanu Reeves. Just excellently. I really love the gravitas and emotion he puts into the character. He doesn't have too many lines, but what he says, he sells with conviction. He is an excellent voice actor for this role. Everyone put their hearts out for this film. This is one of, I think, the better Sonic films that have come out. 1 was alright, 2 was amazing, I love that one, but 3, it's something special. Like, really special. I loved it a lot. And yeah, I just am very happy with how these movies went. And just, Shadow's great. He's a great character. He's a wonderful character with a great moral to him. And just how everything works with this guy, it's just excellent. Shadow is awesome. Now, going to Sonic, we start off with Sonic after that a little bit. And Sonic is a great character in this. He has a great arc as well. Maddie, Tika Sumpter, tells him, to make good choices and be a good person. That's a really great through line for the movie. And it comes up in the end. I'm going to try not to spoil the big moments. I'm just going to give a little gloss over of the plot here. It isn't too spoilery, but I'm just going to try to lay the groundwork for future spoilers to come. Sonic does a really great job in the film. He's a great character. I really like how he interacts with all the other characters. And there's a sense of cockiness to him that I felt throughout the film that there wasn't in the other ones. Where after this, he's already beaten Robotnik twice. He's kind of lost that sort of childish edge and really gained a sense of, I can do this no matter what. And that is both proven and disproven throughout the movie. I really love that through line. I really love that lesson. And it's so nice to see in the film. Sonic is a great character, but he's not my favorite in this movie. I don't think he's my favorite in all 3 of them. I love Robotnik in the first one. I love Knuckles in the next one. And I think the ensemble cast is really great in this movie. I like them a lot. Just to mention while I'm grabbing my figures and showing them off, Tom and Maddie are great characters in the movies. They're kind of sidelined a bit for the plot. They do a good job in the middle, though. There's a couple cameos of other human characters I don't want to spoil. Commander Walters is in this, of course. He's great. I really liked him. They could have done more with him, I feel, though. But going on to Tails, Tails is great. I feel like Colleen O'Shaughnessy's age is starting to show within the character. The voice acting is a little bit grating, like kind of. I can feel that youthfulness of Tails kind of being sucked away, even though there are lines about Tails being cute and adorable and stuff like that. And I just find that he is a really great character. I'm very happy with how he was portrayed within the film. He does a lot of stuff in this movie involving tech work and sort of being the guy in the chair, to quote Spider-Man. Spider-Man, one of them. I think it's the first one. Homecoming. They all have the word home in them. Anyways, Tails is great. I really love how this character works. You both get to see the sort of angry Tails, pouty Tails, and then this Tails. They're all really great. Very well done on Tails in this movie. Really nicely done. My boy, Knuckles, has a wonderful role in this movie where he had lessons that he learned within the second movie that carry over to this one. And he actually teaches those lessons to certain characters. And his arc is really nice. I like how he's learning, he's growing, and as a character, he's getting better and better as he goes along. And I just love seeing that in my boy. Knuckles was my favorite character in Sonic 2. I loved him in this one. I always like seeing him. Idris Elba was amazing in the role, and he even wore the gloves, the knuckle gloves, while he was doing the voice acting, which really kind of sold it. There's actually a couple of funny parts where his gloves come into play. He's trying to grab things and move things around, and it's really funny. A lot of his lines are really funny. The humor in this movie was really great, but I'll talk about that later on. Knuckles was a great character. I really loved how he worked within the film. Now going on to Eggman, who I thought Robotnik, or at least I thought he was a good character in the really great character in the first one. I loved him in the first one. The second movie, he was very memey, jokey quotes, internet references. It got to be too much. This one's interesting because it kind of scales it back a little bit, but also brings it forward in the form of him and also his grandfather, Gerald Robotnik, who was a good character, but it's kind of like two of the same character, but in this way it works within the story. I'm not going to really spoil how that really details, but I do love how he and Gerald interact throughout the film, all throughout the film. It works out very well. There's a couple parts that I feel like could be cut, as are most lines from him in Sonic 2, I think. He was too hammy in that. In this one, there are actually parts of the plot that I would cut out with him in it, because there's literally no resolution, really. It doesn't really, work to his character's benefit. His full resolution at the end of the movie is great. I loved how that went. I actually really loved how his resolution went within the story, he and Gerald. But for now, he's a great character. He works well with the Gerald character. And also, while I don't have his little mini tiny figure here, Agent Stone was amazing within this role. I loved how Lee Majub, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, he did a phenomenal job. He's probably one of my other favorite characters within the series, and he's a fully, I think, new character to the whole Sonic mythos, at least these movies go, as well as Tom and Maddie. But he just steals the show. I love how he is in the movie. He does a great job on his part, and I'm kind of rambling because he's just so great. I'm also grateful to all of you for my little review I did of the 5-pack with him in it, and the burrito drone, which shows up once in the movie. Spoilers, by the way. You still want to get the 5-pack, though. It has Agent Stone, the only Agent Stone we have. And he just does a great job with that. I'm super happy how that works. And I just really liked his character. It was awesome. It was really, truly awesome. But the man of the hour, Shadow, did... Oh, my God. I cannot sing enough praises about him. I wanted more. And that's also a complaint, but also a legitimate... I want more. I want to see more of this character. I think, as a filmmaker, you should be wanting your audience to say, I want more of this. I want to see more of this character. I want to see more of these people in this movie. It isn't that there wasn't enough. It's that they did just enough with Shadow. and they did his backstory right. They did his backstory right as much as a PG film could do, I must say. It isn't fully like the original, from what I have known. I haven't actually beaten Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. I just watched my friends play it. They gave me their memory cards with complete, files in it, and I just, play the final boss over and over because I like the music. The music in this movie is amazing. Just gonna say that. I'm just saying it's amazing, and I'm really happy with how that went. The music is great. There's little snippets of stuff everywhere. You can tell that they put a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of references, a lot of lines from the games that really just, I'm like, oh, like the Leo pointing meme. That kind of thing. But Shadow was awesome in the movie. I really loved that they did him justice. They did the character justice. And I want to see more of Shadow in the future. He's a big cash cow character they're trying to sell the film with. And obviously, they're going to bring him back one way or another. So, yeah, Keanu did an amazing job. Sonic was right in the first movie. He is a national treasure. So now, this shows up for like 2 seconds. You don't need it. I hate to say it. You don't need it. Steal the shoes. Give it to this one. And then that's it. You don't need it at all. It's a shame, because I would have loved a 3-pack with this and then the 2 other. They all wear the hats for like a few minutes. That's it. Not even a minute. I'm sorry. That's the only big spoiler I'm giving. I'm giving you all of it's not financial advice, but I'm just saying this figure really isn't worth it in the grand scheme of things. This is one of those figures they saw a production model of, and they're like, oh, Chow are popular. Oh, Tails is popular. This one looks cute. Let's just put it out there in the wave instead of more important characters. Ozzy. We could have had Ozzy. We could have had Ozzy. I mean, this isn't Ozzy, but it's close enough. We could have had a dog. We could have had a dog, and that would have been great. Give us dog, please. Are there any articulated dog figures, by the way? Let me know. All right. So I think I've gone over all the characters. I still want to get this in all black. That'd be great. But now, the moment of truth. Now, here there be spoilers. I am going to be spoiling the movie. So if you want to get out, if you want to stay, if you want to leave, that's fine. You true diehards, I see there's like 6 people watching right now. But if you true diehard people want to stay and hear spoilers, because there's spoilers coming, stay here. If you don't, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to leave. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is spoiler time right now. I'm going to spoil the movie. Okay. Everyone's out that wants to be out. One person left. That's funny. Okay. So, hello everyone, and thank you so much for watching so far. Make sure to click like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and hit the bell icon for more creativity. Now let's get back to it. I like seeing this guy. This was a nice treat to see Supersonic. Very awesome. I love seeing him again. The Master Emerald thing. I love that bit. That's why we need a light-up version of Knuckles, because that one scene with these two arguing over the Master Emerald was one of the better scenes in the entire movie. I love that so much. That was amazing. I'm very happy about that scene, and that's why we need a light-up Knuckles for that scene. That was one of my favorite scenes of the whole movie. I love that so much. So, with the advent of this light-up Supersonic and this light-up Super Shadow, that was the coolest part of the entire movie. That was phenomenal. I was in love with that part so much, and I cannot get over it. I am just over the moon with how they did this. The fact that he blocks him with one hand as he's trying to punch him. Brilliant. Just brilliant. We are in spoiler territory, people. Just letting you know. That was a brilliant part of the movie. I loved it. The entire fight was amazing. But the moon scene reminded me a lot of that scene with Knuckles and Sonic on the beach. I love that one. And Live and Learn playing, just I think I melted into my seat for a bit. I cheered, and I don't think anyone else did. It was kind of a very anemic crowd. There were not that many people there that were huge fans of it. I actually missed the fan thing. I missed the fan thing by a little bit. I didn't even know there was a fan thing. Honestly, I honestly didn't know the Sonic movies were incredibly popular enough to gain a fan traction, like a fan thing. So I missed out on that. I would have loved to go. But yeah, there were so many references to the games that were just amazing. They did posing from Sonic Adventure 2. They did like that whole line with the jumping out of the helicopter and he's like, "No free fights and movies, I'm out of here." That was great. I love that part. Let me just try to go back in my brain. I hated the first scene. The very first scene in the movie. It's so stupid. It's, "Oh, donuts? You didn't give me donuts? What's this?" And I'm like, "Oh god, the gun people, are the gun guys gonna be stupid or something?" And yeah, they kind of got trashed throughout the entire movie. Gun was very underrepresented. It was kind of stupid in a way, honestly. Like, oh man, the gun-based scene where they're all flying around and stuff, and everyone's like either like smushed to the ground or it was very video game like. Like it's almost like that's a future game thing where red means you're close to the ground and green means you're flying or something. That is definitely going to be some kind of game mechanic they're going to use in the future. Although the fact the rebar was like just like falling into them, was about to smash them, was really cool, and Sonic just destroying it with the boulder. It was fun catching the trailer scenes that would like, just pop in the movie whenever they wanted. So, okay, so Shadow breaks out, and then let me just get the figures because I'm better with talking with something in my hands. Shadow breaks out. The fight scene with the gun soldiers was exciting. He just like zipped around everywhere and even like hit one guy into the two-way glass. That was pretty cool. I did that. Shadow was really awesome. I love that. I love the constant flashbacks with him and Maria. Maria's scene, the big scene with Maria, where she's gone. I'm just gonna say I'm not gonna anger the YouTube algorithm with words. But when that scene was brilliant, I love that. But the scene where they're outside, and they're like just relaxing in the meadow and looking at the stars. That line about like you see a star and it's like shining really brightly even though it's already gone. That got me. I love that line. That is a line I'd want on a shirt. And if I were a person to get one, I'd get a tattoo of that line because that is one of my favorite lines. I never thought about stars that way. They're millions of miles away, and we still see their light, even if they're gone. It is such a poetic and perfect moment to just bring the whole movie full circle. And yet I did that kind of dumb thing in the end where they remind you of these lines. But I appreciate that because it makes it hit even harder. To the person asking about Tom, I will get there. So then you have a race between these guys, and they're all racing and stuff. And it turns out to be a hologram by Tails. And I thought it was an Eggman thing, like we're bringing him in this early to the movie. But these three race, and it turns out to be a hologram because it's Sonic's birthday or something. It's his day he came to Earth or whatever, or he was like It's like the Gotcha Day for animals, like adopted animals. So they're racing, and they have the birthday thing, and then Gun shows up in a helicopter and takes them using a ring portal, which is pretty cool, to Tokyo. And I went to Tokyo in like 2023, and that was really cool seeing the Shibuya crossing, which is a main sort of event in the films. I actually crossed on Shibuya crossing, and it's actually, Japan is a bucket lister. I think it should be for everybody. Japan was awesome. I loved going there. There's no Chow Garden, but c'est la vie. The initial fight with Shadow, I think, missed a couple of lines from the trailers that they added in and took out or something like that. Like, can we just talk about this? It wasn't in there when Shadow... Oh, God, which Shadow does not have the light-up function? Where Shadow, like, grabs him and like, can we just talk about this? That's not even in the movie at all. It's a shame. They didn't put that in there. Like, Commander Walter shows up. He looked like he is getting older. And... he passes away soon later in the movie. No Olive Garden reference. They're in a Chow Garden. I wish they could have said something. It was right there. There were so many things that were right there. They could have gone into the wallet and grabbed an Olive Garden card or it could have been an Olive Garden card in disguise, or something like that. But he looked like he was on a green screen and just ready to be done with the film series. And I get it. Honestly, this is a movie where some characters bow out here and there like that. But what else? Man, so much in this movie. It's a very, very rushed front. The first like maybe like half hour of the movie is really, really fast. Yeah, I'm sorry that Olive Garden guy passed away. I mean, he shows up later in the movie in a disguise or something, but it's not him. It's a different character, and I'll get ahead of myself. Can't believe there's people watching this who haven't seen it yet. Please go see it. Please support the franchise. Pretty please. Yeah, the Eggman drones did take out the. I'm happy to see the Eggman drones. I don't know why there weren't any Buzz Bombers or new Badniks. They just stuck with the Eggman drones. Is it easier? I don't know. I would have minded more Badniks. That would have been great. But moving on from that, so there's a guy in a motorcycle that takes out those drones, and it turns out those drones were, being controlled by a different character. But also, the crab mech shows up. Oh God. The crab mech shows up. I love this thing. This is probably one of my favorite little play sets they've done for Jax. The crab mech shows up, and it's under control of the guy on the bike is revealed to be Agent Stone. And he's really good in this movie, like I said before, by Agent Stone. So the crab is basically Eggman's base. It can, sort of, curl up and, fly. It's really cool. They make a lot of crab puns with it. It's spacious and crustaceous is one of the funniest lines in the movie for me. Because as an English major, I love when they play with words. So the crab mech is introduced. Eggman's inside. He's doing his fat little bongo thing. He's watching telenovelas. And I really wish there was a character in the telenovela named Maria, which would have really, sort of triggered Shadow a little bit. That would have been interesting. Oh, man. Ooh, it's a very cold day here. But yeah, just going back to the movie, there was so much. The movie's so dense. It's hard to really figure out what's going on. Whew. So the three get answers from Commander Walters. The crab mech shows up. They go with Eggman. They go to this old gun base, I think. I'm probably skipping things. They go to this old gun base and they split up. It's pretty cool, and they have good banter. The talking and character work is really great with these characters. It's really, really awesome. I'm not used to talking to the camera right over here. I'm looking at myself talking because I'm so self-conscious. But so everyone just sort of splits up. Agent Stone goes with Tails. He mentions he's specifically adorable, and I'm like, yes, someone else mentions it. I love Tails. He has a lot of gadgets, and they kind of, they're both second bananas and stuff. And Stone realizes that he isn't really, Eggman's friend. And meanwhile, Shadow and Sonic are Sonic finds Shadow's containment tube, and he's like, man, this guy is really angry. And Shadow finds him and then captures him, ties them all up and stuff. And then meanwhile, Eggman meets his grandfather, and they're kind of the same character, honestly. It isn't really anything new. I wouldn't have minded a different voice for, Gerald versus Robotnik voice. It's all over the place. He doesn't play the character perfectly or anything. He doesn't have a specific voice for anything. He just he's kind of like a second Robotnik. It's really weird. So then the scene from the trailer where he has the marble thing, and then he just sort of drops it as everyone else is tied up, and they go get Tom and Maddie, and they have to infiltrate a gun base in what? London. They globetrot so much in this movie. It's really, really crazy. They just go everywhere. Oh man! And then, yeah, another great line from the that scene where they meet. They look at the camera and they're like, "It's almost like we're being played by the same actor," and it was very funny. There's a montage with them in virtual reality where they're having fun and making up for lost time, where Stone is realizing that he's the third wheel in the relationship. Just got that, by the way. Robots and wheels and mechanics and whatnot. But then they infiltrate the gun area in London, which is pretty cool. They go to the humans transform into into oh god, what's her name? The Rachel, the cousin, the sister, and then Randall. So they transform into Rachel and Randall with little tailspins, which is pretty cute. And they infiltrate the gun base and try to like hack something, which goes awry because Eggman's already hacked it. And then they're all converging on this one area, and there's like lasers and a dance sequence with the Robotniks, and it's very funny. And they end up getting the key or not getting the key, and I forget. Honestly, the keys don't really matter. I don't think at this point. It's just kind of a weird MacGuffin in a way. And eventually, I think the Robotniks went out. Oh, no. So what happens is the Robotniks get the key. Tom is walking around through the gun base with the... Oh, no. What it is Tom gets the key, turns to Commander Walters, gets the key from, I want to say Rouge. He's not Rouge. Rockwell, who I thought would be Rouge. That would have been a great credit scene. You failed your mission. We're turning you into another Sonic character or something. She would have been great as Rouge. I don't know why she was there. It was just weird. In any case. And while Tom is Commander Walters, he bumps into Shadow. And Shadow punches him straight in the chest and knocks him out for the rest of the movie. And his fate is left unknown then. Shadow then sees Sonic running up to Tom and has a flashback of him running up to Maria. And it kind of clicks with him that maybe what he's doing isn't that great. But there's no time for that. We got to go get this giant Eclipse cannon that Gunn forced Gerald to build while in jail to get a pardon or something. And then they go into space with the Eclipse cannon, and basically Sonic is like Tails. Sonic is like Knuckles. I need the Master Emerald, and they're almost gonna fight. And Knuckles is really trying to convince him, and Sonic is lighting up and stuff. And why is Knuckles not lighting up? And he really should be lighting up. And Sonic kind of here forsakes his friends to go get the Master Emerald and beat up Shadow. So at this point, we get our Wade cameo, which is really funny. He's like, I had the ultimate warrior, God, the Emerald. And we cut to Wade playing hockey with it, which is funny, but it's like, half these cameos are on a green screen, and I just hate how lazy it is. I'm sorry. That's why I'm going to rank this movie or rate it at the end. But it's like, come on. Come on, you could have done a little more effort, I think. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for watching so far. Make sure to click like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and hit the bell icon for more creativity. Now let's get back to it. So, he gets the Emerald from Wade, turns into Supersonic. It's really cool. All the Chaos Emeralds are spiraling around him, and it's really cool. He goes to confront Shadow, who, just like Knuckles in the beginning of Sonic 3, punches the emeralds out of him. And then they both like jump for them, and they turn into super forms, have a huge fight across the globe as the Robotniks are like tracking them and wondering where are they going, what's going on, and like they're just fighting in like Rome. And I really hate it when stuff is destroyed that's like old, and then destroy some columns on like a bluff or a cliff, and I'm like, ugh, why? No, don't, please. And yeah, it was just really cool seeing them fight. It was amazingly done. There was a very distinct lack of color except for them, which is a great stylistic choice. And they finally end up like fighting. Like I think at one point Sonic punches Shadow into the moon, which doesn't destroy anything in that point. But eventually, why do I not have the characters with me? And Shadow finally reverts into his regular form. And also they talk while they're in space, which is kind of dumb, but I can see that they're aliens and they may have the ability, so whatever, just c'est la vie. So, Sonic and Shadow are like fighting, and Shadow's like, do it, like finish me, and Sonic is like, realizing that don't let, the pain of the past hurt you now, or something that Tom said, and he realizes that this isn't going anywhere, and they're just going to keep fighting forever. There's no point to fighting. He stops, and they sit down and talk to each other about what's going on, and realize that no matter if the pain, even if the pain doesn't go away, you still can be a good person. And I'm probably paraphrasing and forgetting what they're saying. I'm definitely seeing this again, but they resolve to come together in both super forms and fight the Eclipse Cannon and beat the Robotniks. So they go all the way up, and meanwhile, while I was, forgetting all this stuff, Robotnik and the other Robotnik are hanging out inside the Eclipse Cannon, and Stone has been kind of like left to his own devices. Tails flushed him out with the giant crab, and just like abandoned him inside the river. And there's a whole bit of Stone crawling out of the river with a bunch of pebbles in front of him. Like, oh, stones. That's pretty clever. That's pretty funny. But he's like dejected, and he calls Eggman, saying that Gerald maybe isn't the guy who you think he is, and Robotnik is like, no, he's great, he's awesome, I love him. Oh, you know what, you're fired, kind of like, and he just like unblock friend, delete, like some kind of like reference or whatever to like Facebook, and hangs up, and then Stone is walking away, dejected, and meanwhile Gerald eventually reveals his full plan as Shadow is charging the Eclipse Cannon. Basically, he's going to annihilate all life, not only on Earth, but like within a large radius, a large several thousand mile radius. And Robotnik is kind of stunned. He's like, I want to rule the world. And, Gerald is more motivated by the death of Maria than he is, trying to connect with his grandson. And, Gerald and Ivo fight. They gotta say Ivo Robotnik. They keep saying Ivo, and it doesn't click. It doesn't connect, I don't think, really, the name. It's just an odd name. I don't know. It's just strange to me. So then they start fighting with weird nanomachines, and the movie kind of lost me for a bit, because I'm like, get back to the fight scene with Sonic and Shadow. Live and Learn played, by the way. I was like, yeah! It was amazing! I was like, oh! It was great! And they kept cutting back to this stupid fight between this guy and his old age makeup self. And I'm like, come on, you gotta do a little better than that, and that kind of thing. And it's just like, why is this here? I mean, yeah, this is the last hurrah for Jim Carrey. It is. But yeah, it's like, come on. So they fight, and, Gerald ends up almost winning. And, Robotnik is going to fall off the side. And they say their goodbyes, kind of. And then Robotnik falls into one of those little ring things. And then Tails and Knuckles help him out and help save the day. And eventually, and he grabs the quill he has that's charged with superpower, and he gooses his grandfather with it in the butt, and he jumps so high that he goes into the swirling power vortex that is powering the Eclipse Cannon, and just goes out like a bug zapper or something. And even Robotnik's like, he makes one heck of a bug zapper or something like that, and I'm like, okay, that was kind of stupid, really anticlimactic. And not too great at all. I would have rather him suffered for his hubris. But him going out like that, fine, I guess. I mean, down the road, there might be, he goes into the future or something like that, or some kind of weird time portal. Shadow does have time powers and teleportation powers. Maybe there could be some, more Gerald or whatever. And they could easily cover that up with, like, makeup and, shots of his back and stuff like that for the future stuff I'm going to talk about in a bit. So, Super Sonic and Super Shadow save the day and help redirect and help with guarding the Eclipse Cannon's fire from the Earth. They block it, essentially, and get close to it, and they're, like, pushing it. And eventually, they push it far enough where it's good, and Super Sonic helps take his friends out, but Robotnik and Shadow stay behind to atone and try to save the day. And we get a great speech from Robotnik to Stone about how he's going to, how he's like saving the day and being a good guy, and he's going out kind of on his terms, and he gets destroyed along with the Eclipse Cannon, and Shadow is still pushing it away from the Earth so it doesn't, have radioactive debris fall on the Earth. So after that, we cut to the same kind of birthday scene we had earlier with Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles all together. One big happy family. Tom is alive. He has a broken arm. That's all right. It works out pretty well. And yeah, there isn't really much to go after that. It's just kind of like they're just having fun, chilling out. They have one more little race, and then we cut to credits. I loved this movie. It was amazing. There's a couple issues with it, but after the mid-credit scene has Sonic, they're racing before the credits hit, and Sonic is like running into this like forest where they were. It seems dark, and it's like he went like way too far because there's a sign that says New York, and they're in like what, Montana or something? I don't know, but he went too far, and the sign from New York I think is like different than what it is, and we see someone come after Sonic. I am so happy right now. I am so happy right now. Oh my goodness. I couldn't believe it. I thought I was dreaming. I'm like, what I saw really happened, right? And it just like, it just, ah, it looked very game accurate. It didn't look finished, but it looked super awesome. Metal Sonic was on screen in a Sonic movie. But not only metal, it was like another metal, and then like a bunch of other metals, and they were all like in like crowding around Sonic. And I'm like, is this a second movie they're just sticking in there? And finally, when Sonic is about to lose hope, boom! Flying around everywhere, beating up all the metal Sonics, and from a sort of like dark red colored hood pops out this type of head. The modern Amy it's more like the modern Amy, but she's like way over there. She's buried in my collection. So this is the Amy you'll get. She had the Pico Pico hammer. She had a red cloak. Everyone's saying she's like the Frontiers version, and I'm like, I haven't really experienced the Frontiers version because I got to the desert level and then dipped out. But yeah, Amy and Metal. We're doing Sonic CD next. It's gonna be a time travel plot most likely. The sign that was the New York sign that he hit was probably a future sign or something. You know, future, past, that kind of thing. Is there a present sign? Anyways, I'm really hype. I don't think I'm as hype. I don't know how they're going to do the story. But the fact that there's more than one metal kind of muddles it for me. And yeah, the last credit scene is an inhibitor ring because Shadow took him off when trying to push the arc, not the arc. It's the Eclipse Cannon away from the Earth. Is an inhibitor ring in the dirt, and then we see the air shoes walk up, and then Shadow's hand grabs it, and then we cut to black, and that was the best Sonic movie. It really was. I'm just so happy. I'm very grateful. Of course, I will love Sonic forever now. It spurned my YouTube channel on. It got me going with all these characters. Sonic, really great character. I love him so much. Tails, a great little buddy. Knuckles, an adversary turned rival. And now we got Shadow, who is just a great character in his own right. Conflicted. I love that kind of character. And Eggman was very silly. I tolerated him more than I did in the second one, that's for sure. But he really balanced out well with his grandfather. To answer the question that just happened in the comments, Maria did not directly get shot, but someone, was, trying to go for... So one of the gun soldiers were trying to go for him, like, because Gerald and Maria and Shadow were escaping, and one of the gun soldiers was about to get him, and then Commander Walters actually was on the good side. He was like, no, don't do that. Or he's like a young Commander Walters. Who played him? I forgot who played him. Now I'd like to know. But it's like, no, there's a child there. And one of them fires off a shot that hits like a tube of something, and it blows up, and that's all we see. And then Shadow wakes up and realizes that Maria's gone. And she's like lying on the floor, and then Gerald's over, and he's crying, and it's a really great scene. It's a really great scene. It's a really great movie. I give it a 9 out of 10. Yeah. A couple nitpicks here and there, but what film doesn't? I'm just happy to have been here and seen all these characters, especially these two. Alright, everybody. That's been my review of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. If you're a fan of Sonic, you've probably seen it by now, or you will soon, but you will not be disappointed with how it respects the source material, how the music really flourishes in the film, and just how much love they put into this movie. especially since it's probably Jim Carrey's final performance on the screen. He's done a really great job, despite some falterings with the script on his part. I understand that there are normal people and children watching the movie, and this isn't directly for me, but I'm glad that what parts I enjoyed, I really loved. So, thank you, Jeff Fowler, and thank you to all the actors who put a lot of love into this wondrous film series we call Sonic the Hedgehog. Thank you so much for watching Jesse Hecht Creative, everybody. Make sure to click like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment if you want to. And I'll see you next time in another review, in another Let's Play, another time, in another place. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye! Boop! Thank you so much for watching Jesse Hecht Creative. Make sure to click like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. You can also visit us at jessehechtcreative.com for more reviews like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and keep being creative. Stay tuned.